Hello, everyone. This is me, George from Pageant Empress, and this is the third episode of our Pageant Empress podcast. And as usual, I have a very special guest with me. This time we have from Europe. She is Miss International Queen 2023, Solange Dekker from the Netherlands. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No, it's my pleasure. And we've been talking for a while since you're competing Miss International Queen. So for me, it's my pleasure to finally
Yes.
have you in my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Yes, for sure. The honor is all mine, and we have been speaking very long with each other, and we have we have come a long way, if I can say. Yeah.
Yes, and of course, first of all, you made such a history for Europe as the first ever European woman to win the Miss International Queen. So how does it feel?
Oh my gosh. It's always unbelievable, and it's always such a dream come true when it happens. And in my case, it was, I think, even more special because, I keep telling it over and over, but I never anticipated to win. I came to Thailand with just big dreams, two suitcases, and just, with a golden heart and a desire to create change in this world. And never did I even think about the possibility of winning because it was also not on my agenda, right? I just wanted to be in Thailand to create a change that I was lacking when I was growing up. And for me, that was the only thing that mattered. And if you look back at my year as Miss International Queen, there was a lot of competition. Miss
Yes, stiff
Philippines, oh my
competition.
gosh, she was a force to be reckoned with, Lars Pacheco, and also Colombia from my year, Angela Frischia, she was a Golden Heart and Miss Thailand. There were so many amazing women that deserved the crowd, that really deserved the spot too. And ultimately, it can only be one. But I think it's even more special because, yes, I am the first of Europe to win, but I'm also the very first of Netherlands to compete for Miss International Queen.
Wow.
Before me, Netherlands never competed before. And that's because Netherlands is such a small country, also not only in size wise, but also for pageantry wise, right? So we are not really seen as a threat. Came to many surprise when I snatched the crowd, because a lot of people were thinking it was going to be someone else, Philippines again, like a back to back, or they were gonna. A lot of them thought Vietnam, and if you look at Vietnam, yeah, she's stunning, she's gorgeous. That's the thing with pageantry. There's a lot you don't know behind closed doors.
That's one thing I really loved Miss International Queen or any of the beauty pageants out there, especially based in Thailand, right? Sometimes unexpected things happen, and this is why I love pageantry. We get to see fresh face, new countries winning the crowns, like the Netherlands, which
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't really like follow Netherlands that much because it's not a big pageant country. But like you said, it's really nice, right? Once in a while, I think it's always nice to see a European country winning. I think the last time Miss Universe was what, France, and it was Iris back in like 2016.
Yes.
That's a while ago.
Yes, this was the last time. It was the last time. It was also the last time that like a blonde won, like any major for pageant for a very long time. That's the beauty of pageantry, right? It's shifting, and it there are just times where it creates more space for Asia, more space for Latin America, more space for European. And I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing that a lot of different ethnicities and countries are coming up to charge.
Do you think blondes have more fun? What do you think, as a blonde yourself?
I mean, I am a blonde, so yeah, I do think that blondes have more fun, but if I like in daily life, yeah, I do think so. I think that blondes have more fun, but it really defines what kind of person you are, how much fun you have. And especially in pageantry, I think there are so many amazing women, there are so many amazing people, amazing countries, and a lot of them really put in so much effort, but there are only a handful that you can really laugh with because a lot of the girls are very, very, very focused on,
Yes.
winning. And there are only a handful of girls that are there and are not really thinking about winning and that are there just for different reasons, right? And those are usually the girls that you can really laugh with because they don't think about it that seriously.
So you just were like laid back, you were there to have fun, enjoy the moment, and if you win, that's great. And in the end, you did, right? You created history for
I
Europe.
was very laid back. Yes, I was very laid back during MIQ, and I think That's also the response that I got from a lot of other girls. They told me like, because for example, Miss Malaysia was my next door roommate, and she told me, never in a million years did I thought that you were gonna win. And it's not because you're not beautiful, because you are, but you were just so laid back, You were like going to the gym, you were walking around in your sporting outfit, like no makeup on, just very, very easy, very chill. Whereas we were always stressing about timing, about makeup, hair, about what to wear, and
Dressing
you
up.
were just opening your suitcase and you thought, okay, this looks nice, let's put it on. But that's how I view life. I view life as something not to take too seriously, because there are a lot of things that happen to you that are very seriously, and it's always just the best to kind of go with the flow and go with it and see what happens.
Your philosophy, I love your mindset. And I think that's one good thing about girls from Europe, because it's not a pageant country, at least the region wide, it's not focused too much on pageantry. So they can just enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
They don't have to like, oh my gosh, should I wear this dress for this dinner event, special event, sponsor event, right? Which is something I feel like pageant countries really focus a lot. Like, okay, I have to get this detailed. It has to be perfect to the T. But I like that, I'm gonna wear something that's casual, and you know what? I'm gonna have fun, right? And then that's what I
Uh,
like about you. It's like so you're so authentic, natural, and effortless when I was looking at the social media. And I think that's what beauty queen should be. I think like
Thank you so much.
during the pageant, have fun, but don't be too serious because I don't like when people get too competitive and they lose the track, right? I think it's pageantry is about celebrating women, celebrating different countries, nations, and you did that. And I love that about you. You're like just so natural.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it because yeah, that's how I am. That's how I also like to participate in pageantry. Not over the top, but just the right amount of top.
Yeah, just be you and authentic, right? And also,
Exactly.
is there any message you'd like to give to our viewers? Because there's always going to be obviously like I'm also part of the LGBTQI plus community, so representing.
As for sure, please participate, show yourself, and make your voices be heard, because there's nothing more important, especially for underprivileged communities like ourselves, to always be represented. And especially if you have a desire to create change, if you have a golden heart, and if you're there for the right reasons, please come. Not just Miss International Queen, but there are other beautiful pageants to go to. As long as you have the right advocacy, as long as you know why you're there, I would always say, please apply, because there's a lot of good that you can do. And I'm very grateful to be having, taken part in Miss International Queen, and for any other pageant that I have partaken in the past. I'm always very grateful because I think pageantry very seriously. And for me, it's really a podium where you can create change, where you can let your voice be heard. And if you're doubting, don't doubt. You can only create beautiful memories. There's literally sisterhood that I'm still visiting right now. I mean, I just came back from 2 months in Thailand with a small stop in Singapore, where I was watching my dear friend Katricia, partake in Miss Universe Singapore, and she was my first runner up for Miss International Queen, and we are still so good, such good friends, me and Miss USA too. And it's really a life-changing moment. So if you're still doubting, if you're uncertain or whatsoever, don't be. You can only create goodness and from this, and just try. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose about it, right? I think it's a great pageantry, especially if you're trying to
Nothing.
go for it. I think it's
Exactly.
I like
Yes.
do it. And this is the reason you
Exactly.
national queen. Like I love your answers. It's so natural and like when you speak, I want to keep listening to you. I think you have a very good voice for a podcast. Have you ever thought of maybe creating a podcast in the future?
I have, well, thank you. I already have a podcast actually. I have one podcast right now. Actually, I am in the process of making my second podcast, which is with Image 2, will be also aired on my YouTube channel. I haven't started yet, but it will be a podcast about pageantry, especially
Exciting.
Dutch pageantry. Yeah, and it will be mostly live interviews with a lot of queens. But I'm not going to say anything else for that matter because I'm still in production. So yeah,
That's
but that
exciting.
will be live.
Okay, we'll be live. Okay. Yeah, for me, I'm not going to do live yet. This will be posted soon, in Friday. So it's like what, 3 days from now, right? Like 3 or 4 days from now. But like, I'm really excited for that. And yeah, like I said previously, if you haven't checked out, put a link. So send me the link and I'll put the podcast link on the description of this video. So please go listen to her.
Cool.
She has
Perfect.
incredible thing to talk about, especially advocating for the LGBTQI plus community. And I remember, I think it was the day of the finals, when they posted, I forgot the sponsor, it was a pink. You were wearing like a pink outfit, you were talking about your life story. And after I listened to how touching it was quite personable and quite relatable to many people. I thought, okay, Netherlands going to win. Like I had you as my winner after that. I was like, it was very touching, honestly speaking. And I'm not saying that because I'm talking to
Thank
you,
you.
but it was really personable and you being vulnerable. You're not being afraid to talk about your personal life, the struggles you had went through. And I think that is the reason you won. It's not because you were the perfect one out of the group or you were the tallest one or the skinniest one. It was not the reason. I think it's because you're able to relate to a lot of people, your story. So if you don't mind talking about it as well, that would be lovely because I think that will inspire a lot of people watching this podcast.
Yeah, for me, because I view pageantry so personally, and for me, I'm really there for, for myself, but also for my younger self and for all the underprivileged people that don't have the ability to be present at a stage like that right now. I'm representing them, and I come from a very, very troubled childhood, from a very poor family, and it was always my dream to be partaking in in such a big stage one day. And I just speak like there are only people like my younger self listening right now. So my answers are very personal, because it's something that I've been through. And I never want to tell the perfect answer that the judges want to hear. I want to tell them the answer that comes straight through me, and the answer that I've lived, because that's what pageantry is for me, right?
Yes.
Whether I partake in Miss International Queen or Miss Universe or whatever, it's the same. That's what pageantry is and should be. And I just wanted, in regards to my gown, I wanted to wear something that represents myself, right? And I always see myself as kind of like a Disney princess, and everybody always tells me you're like Cinderella or whatever. And I found this gorgeous designer that makes wonderful gowns in Turkey. And I just thought, I'm gonna make something that truly represents me, something that is perfect for me and how I want people to view me, right? And then everything just mashed perfectly together. But still, on the final night, I had no clue I was going to win. I absolutely, and I know it sounds very, very strange, but I had no clue that I was going to walk away with the crown, especially after, seeing Singapore or
Yeah.
seeing USA or hearing the answer Philippines with the top six.
I
No,
mean,
like no clue.
yeah, I mean, yes, it was a very tough, competitive batch, and you had like tons of big competitions. But I think, like I said previously, you spoke from your heart, right? You were authentic. You were speaking your truth. You're being relatable to people through a story, and I think that those were the reasons you won. It's because I think being a beauty queen, yes, it is important to look perfect and beautiful and glamorous. All of that is important, yes. But except that, I think you should also be genuine, someone people can actually relate to your story, listen to that, be inspired by that, be motivated by that. So I think those were the
Exactly.
reasons you won. I know you're kind of like, I'm a bit surprised, but actually, if you listen to your answers, it makes sense because you had the strongest answer between the finalists. Sorry. Yeah. So I think you should.
My top three
Yeah,
answer,
yeah, yep.
oof,
It was so good. I
listen.
posted on
Oh
my
my
social
God.
and got like viral. A lot of people watched it.
I know. If I look back right now, because sometimes I watch the final back quite often on
Okay.
YouTube,
Yeah.
the Miss International Queen, where I won. Just as a recap, like how was it for me? Because you're so tired on that final night, so everything to me is kind of a blur, right? Like I can remember that I was standing on the stage with me in Singapore, but I
Yeah.
just can't remember sometimes the moment that I won because
Right.
everything is such a blur. And then I just rewatch it and then I hear my top three answer, and I'm like,
It was
that's
so
what made me
good.
win.
Yeah.
That's what made me win.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's the reason. Like, I was listening to the answer. I was like, okay, USA. I think I forgot the first one. I was like, USA, Singapore, and it was you. And I was like, okay, wait, Netherlands gonna win. Not just based on the answer, but like how she performed overall. She was authentic. She was just truly being herself. I was like, okay. I think it's about time Europe wins finally, because I think the previous
Finally.
was it France? It was a European country, but she was a finalist. She was runner-up. She didn't win, so I was like, okay, finally, okay, about time.
Yeah, I mean that's it's actually funny because I met up with Ayla Chanel. She was Miss International Queen France in 2022,
Right,
and when I was announced as Miss Netherlands for Miss International Queen, she and we were chatting right on
right,
Instagram. We were just chatting because we're she was the only European ever to gotten this far.
right.
So it was really for me. She was like someone to look up to, and I love redheads, right? And for me, she was just she was just she was lovely. She was very lovely.
Yes.
So I just wanted to chat with her and see what I could expect. And she wished me all the best, and she gave me some tips and some tricks. And then when I won, we had I think we had like an hour long call, a few weeks after that, and we were just chatting about everything. And when I went to France, I went there for the Misty France
Right.
organization. It was the first time where I was able to meet up with her. She's amazing. She's so lovely. And she's so like me. She's so down to earth. Just such a happy little abundance of joy. And I'm very privileged to have met her, as the two Europeans who have gotten quite
That's
far.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've created a legacy with the European girls. So hopefully in the future, maybe next year, we get some European countries placing top three. That'd
Mm-hmm.
be nice. And you say you like
Mm-hmm.
redhead, right? Wasn't the US redhead too in your batch?
Yes, 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 yes. Melanie, from my year, she's a redhead too. And I mean, I've been a redhead for years, right? So I mean,
Okay.
I'm a natural dark blonde,
Uh-huh.
and my hair is just it's like a shade lighter right now. But I've been a redhead for years, and I love redheads because it's you don't see it, you especially in pageantry, you don't see it,
Yeah.
right? You don't see it often. I mean, we had a redhead with what was it, Miss Supranational, I believe, Miss England it was last year or the year before,
Okay.
and amazing, amazing, and also Miss International Queen. We had Miss France and then now Miss
Yes.
USA. I love it. And in my year, we have Miss El Salvador, also a redhead. So
Oh,
I do see a pattern that more redheads are coming, and especially if you don't see something like that happening often, I love it.
did you spend the whole 1 year of your reign in Thailand, or did you like travel back and forth to your home country and in Bangkok or like in Thailand?
Very good question. I actually got that question quite often when I just won. I did have an apartment in Thailand when I won, but after 2 weeks, when I won, I did my press tour, my media tour in Thailand with my first and second runner up, and I went back to Netherlands. Also because I didn't arrange a visa because I didn't thought I was going to win. So
Okay.
I didn't arrange a visa. So I had to leave. I had to leave at one point, and I could have, taken the bus to Cambodia or go to Singapore or whatsoever, and then return. But after such a extraordinary experience, which is also very tough, it's very challenging, also on your mental health, right? There's a lot that happens, a lot that really truly happens, not only on stage, but also the 2 weeks before. It's a lot. Um, it was really time for me to take a step back and go back to Netherlands, and just process everything and do a lot of things here because that's also what the Miss International Queen organization wants to they want to strive for it, right? You always have a home in Thailand, but you should try to make the best of it in your country that you're coming from because eventually I represented Netherlands and I want the best for my country as well. And each year Thailand, is always coming out on top with LGBT diversity, acceptance, inclusion. But a lot of other countries are still a little bit lacking, and especially here in Netherlands, we were the first country all the way back in the early 2000s to have legalized the same-sex marriage. But after that, we dwindled it back a bit back in regards to progression and inclusion. And I found it very necessary to come back to Netherlands and to spread my knowledge and positivity here to hopefully let the people know my side of the story, and also that we're all just human, we're all just people, and we all want to experience the same amount of love that everyone else is experiencing. And I mean, that's one of the big reasons why I came home. It's just a lot of it was adding up. So I just traveled in between. I went back from Miss Tiffany in the February of 2024. Still this year, yeah, I went back from Miss
Earlier
Tiffany,
this year. Yeah.
where I crowned the new Miss Tiffany, the
Yes.
Miss Thailand for Miss International Queen, and I spent another 3 weeks in lovely Thailand. And at one point I was traveling so much, I was really looking forward to go home also because besides the first European queen, I'm also the most traveled queen for Miss International Queen. I'm the one
Tell
that
us the
has traveled the
countries.
most.
Where
I
did you go?
know, like the most I traveled in most countries. I believe at the top of my head is 12 or 13, whereas the most girls only visited 4 or 5. So at one point I was just constantly tired and I was
So
really
were you
rooting to
sleeping
go
on the
home.
plane? Were you like just napping on the plane, like traveling from place to
Yes, exactly, exactly. But I've had quite a extensive and emotional year, a raining year, a bit longer than usual too. I had 15 months of raining.
That's fine.
And I visited so many gorgeous countries. I met amazing people, also big names from other pageants. When I went to the Philippines for MIQ Philippines, I was greeted by Miss Earth 2017, I believe. I was greeted by Miss Globe 2021. So many amazing international winners that were there, that were supporting the LGBT pageant system. And I think that that's truly what pageantry is, right? Unity,
Yeah.
unifying the worlds, all worlds together. And I'm very happy, I'm very privileged to have encountered all of it.
That sounds great. It sounds like you had a great rain. I know you said like you were a bit knackered, you were a bit tired because you're traveling a lot, but overall it was a really good rain for you. You were able to meet a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, different countries, and you got to meet some celebrities too. That's nice. That's always lovely, right?
Yeah, for
Rub shoulders with
sure, for sure.
the
And for me, it's also, I like to hear stories, right? I like to hear stories of other victors, right? Of other pageant queens. Like, how was their year? What did they do to truly use the platform well? And I love it when pageant queens are so passionate about their cause, about what they want to achieve when they do win the crown. And for me, it will always be very special to keep meeting women who share that passion.
Oh, that sounds lovely. So during your reign, I want to take one of the moments. I know you had a lot of highlights, right? Just one special moment that is so special to you that you can still remember until now. During your reign, which was the most memorable moment?
I would have to say my visit to Sao Paulo in Brazil.
Yeah.
Instantly, this is my number one because we went to a very underprivileged community. It's called, if I remember it correctly, it's called Casa de Florence.
Okay.
It's a house in a very poor part of Brazil, in Sao Paulo, where a lot of homeless transgender women end up. Those women know because that's the only income that they have, right? Especially if you're trans in Brazil. I think it's one of the worst countries to be trans in. There's no protection, there are almost no rights, there's no safety for the trans community. And a lot of women that choose to be themselves, they end up on the street. They take in those women. They're so hurt that have no place to go. They take them in and they cook for them. They
That's
care for them. They nurture for them. And I had the privilege of going to that house with the MIQ Brazil organization. And we went there and just to hear the stories of those women, what they have been through, and also how excited they were to meet me, because it's very unusual that an international queen would go to such a dangerous place of Brazil. But I found it very necessary because that's what life is, and that's what a pageant queen should do. You should know about the dangerous parts of the world, and you should know especially about the dangerous part of a country you're visiting, because how can you make a decision about a future queen, about a country, if you only see the good side? And for me, I really truly wanted to visit this house because it was such a staple moment in my pageant reigning year. I really, because of that, I really viewed the world different. And that they were just so happy to have invited me. They cooked for me, they wanted to take pictures, and it was truly such a magical experience. I will cherish this with my whole heart for the rest of my life. And you can visit countries, you can have a lot of fame, you can be greeted like a celebrity, but nothing will ever come close into experiencing true humbleness. I really have to agree, nothing comes close because this is such a incredible experience. It's unbelievable, and I'm just forever grateful for it.
I'm sure they were happy to have you too, and having a Miss International Queen just to just talk to them, just have listen to their conversation, their life stories, and just be there, right? Like, I think it's really important nowadays because yes, we have social media. We're very like this. You're in Europe, I'm in Thailand. We're having this incredible globalization of social media, using it for the right reasons, right? We're connecting it. However, I think there's also a difference when you actually face to face, when touching their hands and listening to them and really nurturing it. I think they probably really enjoyed it.
To be taken in by these
Hmm.
much older but much more wiser trans people, and that have been through so much, and it was such a liberating experience to have witnessed. And it really just made me realize you can wear a crown, you can be gorgeous, you can have a lot of money. In the end, it doesn't matter if you're born in a wrong country, or if you weren't lucky enough to have the safety from parents or whatsoever, you're almost doomed to exist.
Right.
If you are like us. And a lot of people, they forget it, especially when they win the crown. It seems like nothing else matters than them.
Mhm.
Whereas I think, nothing more matters than the people that need your help, because that's what pageantry should be. You should give your hand
Helping
to
hand.
those that don't have a voice. Exactly. And that's what the Miss International Queen organization is very good at, in choosing girls that are like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's really important to talk about and advocate, especially for inclusion, especially LGBTQIA plus community, because I feel like we are both quite privileged, right? Like Thailand is going to legalize same-sex marriage by the end of this year.
Oh
So
God.
by next year, if I have a partner, so like if I want to marry him, it's possible. So I'm really happy, and it's quite progressive. And also the Netherlands is quite progressive in terms of the law and the rights for the LGBTQIA
Yes.
plus community. But unfortunately, that is not the case worldwide, especially in Africa, the Middle East, even like parts of the South America. It's like almost some places are like even illegal to be like gay
Yeah.
or trans. So I'm really happy that you actually had the opportunity, because people when they go to Brazil, they go to the beaches, they go like see all the hot guys or like parties, but you actually went and yeah, you got to know the real people of Brazil, and you had the genuine
Yeah.
conversation, and I think that's really important. Okay, what about a fun experience? You talk about a very like a humble and like more like a purpose, right? Giving back to the people, charity work. Was there any fun moment in Thailand that kind of like sticked out to you?
Moments in Thailand. I mean, a lot, right? A lot. When I went back for the Miss Tiffany, there were a lot of amazing moments where I got to meet all the contestants, and where we were doing just a lot of amazing things, cool things. Also, at the end of my reign, when I come back to Thailand for Miss International Queen 2024, I thought it was going to be a very amazing experience, but it ended up being a very fun experience. I had the chance to have a chat with the Prime Minister of Thailand, and
Okay.
I thought it was going to be very like deep, but it was actually so much fun. It was so much fun to be there. There were even people that I knew. There was the embassy of the Netherlands was there too, and the representative, and it was just so much fun. The Thai people are always just so happy and so grateful. And um, after my after passing on my crown, I spent another 2 months another month in Thailand, where I got to experience so much around me, like the true Thai locals, the people that have day-to-day jobs, and they're so much fun to be around. And it's amazing to see people in their own element. If I have to pick something from a different country during my reign, I would say my travel to France was very fun. It was a lot
Okay.
of fun, even though it was also very complicated. There were a lot of fun activities, and especially because the pageant was it was quite a low pageant, right? Miss France is quite
Yeah.
a
Like
like
small pageant.
it doesn't, yeah, like a small pageant, exactly. But that's the thing. The girls there, they're so much fun. And the girls really, they really like it when someone from like a bigger pageant comes to view them.
Mm.
And it doesn't happen that often. I had the same thing in Barcelona when I went there for Miss Star International. Just so much fun because they are just already so happy that you're coming, right? So
Presents.
they're yeah, the presence. So there's so much done in regards to dancing, in regards to partying.
Okay.
Also, when I went to the Philippines, I
Mm.
went to the Philippines for MIQ Philippines, and I saw my predecessor Fusha and Ravina. And at the end, I think like one day before I left, we went to this very big club, and we were just partying and dancing
Okay.
and everything. And it was such an amazing experience. And there are countless of those experiences that really just I had so much fun with it. This
Sounds
whole
great.
year has been only fun.
You know what? I think you should write a book about your life. When you get a bit older, maybe like when you're like 40 or 50, you could write your memorabilia about your life, especially the race,
I will.
this international race. And I'm sure you'll talk about
Yes.
just getting stuck in traffic in Bangkok too. Like, did you ride a tuk-tuk or like motorcycle and it gets stuck in Bangkok, Bangkok traffic?
I only did a tuk-tuk once, actually, but I usually, for example, when I was still living in Thailand, I either have the Grab, or I walk. I like walking, but the Grab was my go-to for a lot of things. I didn't really do a motorcycle. I found it quite scary
Yeah,
because
good.
they drive like maniacs. They drive
Yeah.
so fast. So usually I would just grab a Grab taxi,
Active. Yeah.
and just go for it. I think I did a motorcycle once or twice. That's it. It's so scary. I
Did you
cannot.
miss
But
did you do cycling in Amsterdam in the Netherlands? Because I know Dutch people love to like ride bicycle, right? In your home country.
honey, you can bet your sweet behind that when I went back in here, the first thing I did was ride my bicycle. I missed that bicycle of mine. I'm a very active person, right? I love running. I'm a runner here in Amsterdam. I love cycling. I love going to the gym. I love to be very active. In Thailand, I cannot. It's too hot to run. The road is too dangerous for me to cycle. Cannot. And here in Amsterdam, everything is just the
Everyone's
infrastructure is
bicycle.
designed for the bicycle.
Yeah. So was it like a culture shock because you came from a country where almost everyone like uses public transport or they have their own like cycle. They don't really, use a lot of motorcycles or cars too much. So was it a bit of a culture shock when you first came to Thailand? It's like completely traffic, bombarded by traffic everywhere.
I mean, yes and no. So it was my first time in Asia actually when I
Cool.
went for Miss International Queen. I've never been to Asia before. And I didn't say I don't really think I had a big culture shock. There were definitely some things that I thought, "Ooh, I have to get used to that," but not that I thought, "Oh my God, this is like such a shock to me." But um, I think if we're talking about like the biggest change, I would definitely say is the amount of street food that there is in Thailand.
Yes.
In Amsterdam, no, there's just almost no street food or anything for that matter. And in Thailand, there's like on every corner there are like nine stands. There's
Yes.
so much happening right there.
Did you watch Miss Cosmo, the one that just
I
happened?
did. I did watch Miss Cosmo. Ooh,
What do
there's a
you think
lot
of
to
it?
talk about.
Yeah.
I think that for the first edition ever, they did an excellent job. The production was really it was really amazing. It was actually really, really good to see. The stage was massive. Oh my God, the stage was massive.
Yeah.
And everything was so well thought of, despite the troubles that they were having with the hurricane in Vietnam and everything that happened and you know uh, craziness. But when I watched the final night, I was shocked. I was so shocked because it was amazing, right? And I love the introduction. The song is a bit new to me. It was very futuristic. I have to say, it was very, very, very futuristic. But I love I love the Cosmo song. That's a very nice song. And I think the winner is it's a true winner. I'm very happy that Indonesia won. And what I really like about Miss Cosmo is the ending with the top two, where they are, they are standing next to each other and they are basically like pitching to each other, why should I win? And then they get to ask each other the questions. I think it's very smart because in my mind, that's what pageantry should be, right? You can have an amazing walk, you can have a gorgeous face, but if you don't know how to talk or if you don't really know what kind of cause you're representing, why should you even win? And Miss Cosmo is really up to par in regards of being one of the major pageants. If they keep it up like this, I will tell you, instead of a top 4 or 5, we'll have a top 6.
Yep.
Because I think that they also deserve the spot. They really deserve to be in the grand spot after the first edition. I always say give it like 5 years to see if it stays on par or if it's dwindling down, because usually for the first one they will always, just do a lot of
Really hype it
effort,
up.
and
Yeah.
maybe for the second they will not. So we never know what will happen. But I think the fact that our, esteemed judge Paula Shugard and the Miss Universe Harna Sandu, that they are there, I think it speaks a lot. I think it speaks volumes. Yes.
Exactly. You just said exactly what I had in my mind. Like, I actually did a whole video, so I just wanted to hear your perspective. I had like what, an hour video? It was quite long. I did a review for Miss Cosmo, the prelims, and I was tremendously impressed by the production. And let's be honest, Vietnam, Thailand, these two countries, they will spend money, they'll spend some bucks to make sure
Yes.
you enjoy the show. So in terms of
Yes.
is Henry, the CEO, the Vietnamese guy who owns the Miss Cosmo, and he used to have Miss Universe Vietnam previously. So it makes sense that now he started his
It
own
makes sense.
pageant. Invited obviously Paula, Miss Universe Hanaz, and like you said, I think having this incredibly talented and also world-renowned judges, it speaks volumes, right? They didn't just hire like all the local people to be judged. They had international panel of judges, and Tata from
They
Indonesia,
did.
she absolutely deserves to win the Miss Cosmo. And of course, Mook from Thailand was the runner-up. And now these two girls will be traveling the world, similar to what he did, and advocating for sustainability and the purpose of Miss Cosmo. So I'm actually really excited. Next year, I think it's gonna
Me
be
too. I actually low key want to be a judge next year for the Miss
okay.
Cosmo. Oh my
Henry, be
God, that
watching
would be
this
amazing.
podcast. Hire her next year.
Yeah, tag the Miss Cosmo, everyone, for me. Tag the Miss Cosmo. I desperately want to be a judge. Maybe I even have the ability to be a judge with Iris Mittenaar from France. Let's
Let's make
represent
it
the
happen.
European
Let's
nation.
make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Okay, you know that's a
No,
great
but I think that the Miss Cosmo, they did something extraordinary, and I'm very 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 proud of them. I'm also very proud for Miss Netherlands. She's the first ever Miss Cosmo Netherlands and immediately get a top 21 placement. Very good. I know her personally, Serena. And she's amazing. And to be called as the first one for the top 21, it's scary. It's very, very, very scary. But she delivered, and all the girls there, they were amazing, and eventually there can only be one winner. But I always say that everyone that came there, they are already winners. They are winners of the country. They're winners of the people's hearts. And I think that everybody should be very very proud of them.
Absolutely. I think, and I know there was there were like 10% negativity. So like, how would you, let's say, justify the winner of Tata, right? Like, because I had like a lot of massive comments, a lot from Indonesia, Thailand, like Southeast Asia in general. They were very, very supportive. Of course, Vietnamese too, because it's the host country. But there was like just tiny portion was a bit negative, saying that the winner was not deserving because she didn't fit the beauty standards. So is there anything you'd like to say to those people who've been a bit negative, putting down the pageant?
I mean, listen, there will always be people who don't agree. There will always be people who hate on the winner. And I find it very sad. How do you call yourself a pageant fan if you bash the girl that wins? And it takes me back to my year when I won. I got so much hate from Vietnam fans. I got so much hate. And Miss Vietnam, she didn't like that hate. She didn't want me and Miss USA to experience that hate. They called Miss USA a fat pig. They called us men, and I won. And I think it's a shame. It's really a shame because eventually, yeah, there's an esteemed panel of judges that make a decision, and you have to respect that decision, especially for a grand final like Miss Cosmo. You know, we are talking about Harna Sandhu and Paula Shugart. They know what they're doing. They really know what they are doing. And how dare you to, as a pageant fan, you know, from an Asian country, because it's mostly from Asian countries that have the biggest mouth when it comes to, you know, that they don't agree it, say, would speak badly about a new winner or Filipino fans or whatsoever, the attention automatically gets diverted to the reigning queen, you know, from that country, and it's a shame. It's really a shame because all those girls, they're doing so much trouble, so much effort, but the fans have never been in their position. As a fan, you have never walked their shoes. So how dare you speak negatively about the girls when you don't even know how it feels to be on a stage like that? I think we all have to stop and we all have to just agree with the results and just be happy for the queen that won, because ultimately there can only be one winner.
Exactly.
That's just how it is. There can only be one winner. And if it's not your girl, there's always next year. There's always different pageants. You know, you don't hear me speaking negatively because Netherlands didn't win. You know, Indonesia is a very deserving winner. And even if, let's say, for example, that a competition is completely rigged, like let's say, for example, that there is a competition happening and it's completely rigged, you should never take it out on the girl that won, but rather take it out on the organization, because the girl that won, she, you know, you cannot blame her anything.
Yeah.
You cannot blame her anything. But I was very displeased because I know it's a lot of fans from Filipino that were having a lot of trouble with Miss Indonesia winning, you know, and it automatically becomes a cooking show. Automatically becomes a cooking show when their representative doesn't win, and I think it's unnecessary. And I would like to take this moment also to speak to all the fans. If you have a problem with the girl that wins, to the Filipino fans, to Vietnam fans, whoever kind of fan you are, please stop this hatred, this bullying towards the reigning queen, the queen that won, because we did not ask for all of this judgment. We have come a very long and hard way to, you know, to be in this competition, to really show our weaknesses and to really just put everything on, you know, there on the line. And if we have this amazing opportunity to win, be happy for the girl that won. That's all that I want to say, because it's just such a shame when they're you call yourself a pageant fan, but then you are literally roasting the girl that won because your representative didn't win.
It is,
Sounds very sketchy to me.
yeah, it
No, it
sounds
doesn't
like high
make
school,
sense.
right? It sounds like high school, and I don't think we need to go back.
Exactly.
Like, not all of them, all of us had good experience. So just if you're over 18, if you're not adult, just behave like one, be mature. Yes, it's like games, right? It's like Olympics games. Sometimes you win gold, sometimes you win silver, bronze, sometimes you don't even be in top three. And that's part of the game,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't win this year,
Yeah.
prepare a lot better next year. Maybe you'll win next year. So I think that's the mindset.
Exactly.
Like, because I'm just kind
Exactly.
of sick and tired of seeing that. Since I have a YouTube channel, I get like hundreds of comments of obviously like cooking show or like, people not behaving as they should. So I really don't like seeing that. So I think just be happy for the girl, like you said, because you don't know what is
Exactly.
maybe she's not
You
happy.
don't know what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah, you know that that's the thing. The only thing that you see as a fan, right? It's the final night, maybe the preliminary. But there's so much that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Usually there's 2 or even 3 weeks. For example, Miss Grand is 3 weeks, but Miss Cosmo was, I believe, 2 weeks. Miss International Queen has been 2 weeks. There are 2 weeks of girls trying to prove themselves. There are 2 weeks of girls, you know, being on the spotlight. That's what you don't see. That's what you have no clue what is happening behind the scenes. So maybe instead of thinking, why didn't my girl win? Maybe ask yourself, how did my girl perform in those 2 weeks? Maybe she just was not up to par. Maybe she is just not a nice person, because it happens a lot that girls, they crumble under the weight, they crumble under the pressure, right, of the pageant, because it's just a very difficult experience to be in it. And even in my year, I was crying twice during Miss International Queen. A lot of girls were crying. We were getting sick because it was such an intense experience, right? Lack of sleep, change of weather, change of
Yes.
continent, change of time zone. There's so much happening that you as a viewer, you don't see it. And I
Yes.
think that we should do less of judging, being judgmental, and we should do more of understanding and listening.
Yep, and supporting the queen and giving them love and support. That's really
Exactly.
important. So
Exactly.
I love your
Yes.
honesty. I don't know if it's because you're Dutch, because my YouTube channel, I love when my guest is all transparent and just giving the views, and I love that. I love that you just said exactly what I was thinking, which is, as fans, you're not a pageant fan if you're hating on someone or you're bashing someone. That is not a fan, right? So
Exactly.
support them. Whether you like them or not, that's a different case. Just be happy for them. Whether you like the girl or
Yeah.
not, that's a different case because the organization has already picked the winner. So they like her, they'll work with her, move on to the next year. That's it. So in the end, let's just talk about men because we both like men, right? Is that okay to say?
We
Yeah,
sure do. We
okay.
sure do.
And we just had a male international pageant, I think like 3 days ago, the Philippines one. It was his name is Dom, from the Philippines. He won Mr. Global, and he's the first of a Filipino man to win this competition. And a lot of people are happy, and yes, some who are not happy. But like, what do you think of Mr. Global? Dom, Dom, yeah.
Well, I think that that the Philippines has made a very excellent choice in him representing the Philippines. And I watched the final. I didn't watch it 100% because there are just there's just so much that you can do. And with me just returning back to Netherlands from Thailand with my jet lag and resuming work, and I miss Cosmo and everything that's happening. Because there's so many pageants right now that are
Yeah,
happening.
so
I had
many.
to make a choice. So I did watch the important snippets of Mr. Global, and I can definitely say that the Philippines is a very deserving winner. There were a few very outstanding men in that pageant, and it's always a fact that male pageants are lesser viewed than the female counterparts. But I always find it a shame because the men, they also represent a very important fact. A lot of them represent mental health in men, and that's something that's very often overlooked. And if you look at male suicide rates, they're sky high, and that's because men, they tend to never talk about it. And I know a lot of men in pageants that want to talk about it and use this platform to talk about mental health in general. So I'm very happy to see that the male pageantry is evolving and growing. And I'm very, very happy for that. We also have Mr. Supranational, we have Mr. International. We have so many. It's really becoming to a rise right now. The male pageantry it's growing. And in regards to Mr. Global, I didn't quite like the start of the Mr. Global. I think it was a little bit lacklustering, but they really made up for it in regards to the contestants, in regards to the rounds that they had, and just the production in general. They really played in well and everything, and it was a true surprise to see the pageant. And Mr. Philippines, amazing, really amazing, and stunning, gorgeous. Mabuhay Philippines! If you're watching right now, you have my
They're
number.
watching,
Let's
trust
start a
me.
relationship.
They're definitely watching.
No, but he's amazing. He's
He's
really
cute,
amazing,
yeah.
and I think that he's very cute. But he's also I think he's the right fit for sure for the crown, for the stash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it was during the top 10, they had the common question. It was about how to promote your country or something special about your countries. And I think he was the one who actually talked about uh, being kind to people, being kind to your neighbors, because it's a Catholic country, right? So it's quite heavily religious. So he talked about fundamental rights about human beings, being nice to people, and that's the special quality about being a Filipino. So I thought that was a really nice way of handling and representing and promoting about your local culture. So he's really
Very
intelligent.
smart.
And I'm
Very
sure he's going
smart.
to have a great reign as Mr. Global. He'll be also living in Thailand, similar to you. I'm sure he's going to have like on and off from Manila to like Bangkok. And also, fun fact, I don't know if you know this, TPN Global, who has Miss Universe Thailand, they acquire the Mr. Global competition since this year. So if you like the
Really?
production, it's because of the Miss Universe Thailand. Yeah, it's the same national
Wow,
actor.
that's why. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. Because I looked at it and I thought it reminds me of something. Like the production, it
Yeah,
reminds me of something, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
yeah.
But it's I saw the stage and I thought at first I thought and then when the show started I thought it's actually really just coming back. And but now it makes sense. It makes sense. And I think that what I liked most was the introduction of the men shirtless and everything, and how they were just posing, and the music with it. I think that was very, very well done. And for me, there were a few countries that were like a true highlight. For example, Puerto Rico.
He was
Ay,
so
Dios mío,
handsome.
encanta Puerto Rico. So good, so good. And Philippines was also a true like highlight. And Spain also, Singapore, Sierra Leone. There were so many men that were. It was just they were very on par, and it's refreshing um, to see such a good production for a male pageant because it's very often overlooked, and it's a shame. It's really a shame because they really represent something important.
Absolutely, yeah. And also just to add to that, I also really like Brazil. Like he was just so fine. He was
Oh my
so
God, such a
handsome.
good team.
Do you see his smile? The
Brazil.
entire night he was like smiling so brightly. I just like it touched my heart. I'll
I
give it
know it
credit, but
actually
it touched my heart. Yeah.
he actually reminded me of myself when I was partaking in Miss International Queen because I was just the only thing I was doing was smiling. I was just like the whole time I was always smiling, 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 and
He
he
was
was
so cute.
it's such a cutie, and as he was walking on the stage and doing everything, I thought, oh my God, you're
Yeah.
adorable. Come here. And but he was actually one of my favorites. For
Same.
me, Philippines, Brazil, Puerto Rico. I thought one of those three would have the biggest chance, and one of them did.
Yeah. And it's nice. And like you said, I think now male pageantry are kind of following towards the female pageantry. They're now talking more about social advocacy, how can they can make a purpose, make a stand to help the community. So I think they're kind of going towards that because previously it's just about who has the best body, who's the most good looking.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like a model competition, but now I feel like they are finally understanding the format of a beauty pageant, which is, helping and inspiring people through your social work. And that's what Mr. Philippines is doing. So I'm really excited for that. And he deserves it.
Yeah, me too.
Watching this video. He absolutely deserves the crown of Mr. Global.
He does exactly. He does deserve it because he had one of the best answers,
Yeah.
like by a mile. So if you are watching this, congratulations. You have truly deserved the grand prize of Mr. Global 2024, and yeah, keep it up. And if there are other contestants for the Mr. Global or Miss Cosmo watching right now, you've done amazing for sure, and it's not always necessary to have one to be a true queen, and I think that speaks a lot, or king, and I think that speaks a lot for a lot of the contestants. When you go back, it's up to you how you live the rest of your life and how you try to change the world and inspire the rest of the people, and you don't always need to have a crown or a sash or whatever to do that, right? Because, for example, my first runner-up, Patricia, she's done amazing things right now in Singapore, and she didn't win, but she has done amazing things. She really changed the view in Singapore life, and or if for the my Miss Puerto Rico during the 2024 edition, she's the one that made sure, because of her, the people in Singapore, in Puerto Rico, excuse me, are able to change the gender on their passport. You
Wow,
know,
that's a big change.
amazing,
Yes.
amazing, and you don't need to win the crown to do those amazing things. You don't need to always win to
Mm.
achieve the best. As long as you have a good heart, you have a desire to create change. That's all it takes. That's all that's enough because there can only be one winner, and the chance of you winning is very small.
I had a lovely time talking to you. I think we talked for like an hour. I'll try to edit a few, but
Yeah, we
keep
did.
most of it. Yeah, it's fine. But it was really nice talking to you as usual, and like it was just lovely to actually have a face-to-face interaction for the first time. And you just were so motivational and so inspirational. So I know, like at that time at the finals, you feel like I don't know if I should win, but I just want you to know you absolutely deserve to win that crown. And you don't have it with you on
Thank
your
you so
head at
much.
the moment, but you have the sash, and that's a reminder that you know what, you are Miss
Yeah,
International Queen 2023, the first one from the Netherlands. You've created a legacy and historical moment for your continent, right? Not just your country, but the whole continent of Europe. So you should be very proud of
exactly.
yourself. Is there any
Thank
message
you so
you'd like
much.
to give to our viewers before finishing the podcast? Anything, any last message for the viewers?
Ooh, last message. I would say thank you so much for tuning in, and for being present and for the continuous support. Because I know I have a lot of fans from Asia. I have a lot of fans from Latin America. I also have a lot. I mean, I have a lot of fans all over, but especially my fan base in Asia, it's massive. And I just want to say thank you so much for always believing in me wherever I go, what I want to do. There's a lot to come from me next year. There's a lot happening, just so everyone is aware. So please continue on to follow for me. I just started also my own YouTube channel where I'm wrapping up on my behind the scenes for Miss International Queen 2024. So I was vlogging everything behind the scenes. So if you want, please just watch the video for that too, so you can see what truly goes on behind the scenes
Mhm.
of a pageant. Right? It's so very important. And just thank you so much for everyone who is continuing to believing in me. Thank you for this opportunity too. I really enjoyed our chat, and yeah, let's create many more.
Saying that, I had a lovely time talking to you, and you could see her social media handle on the screen at the moment. Go follow her on Instagram, and also YouTube link is on the description box of this video. Go watch her behind the scenes. I'm sure she has some like funny beats and like moments to share as well. So watch that video too of Miss International Queen. Saying that, please like, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I had a great time talking to you, Solange. It was lovely to have you on my YouTube channel, and please continue to shine brightly like this and inspiring more trans girls to come out of their shell and be an inspirational like you are. So thank you for saying that, guys. Thank you for watching
Thank
this
you.
video, and I'll see you in the next podcast next week. Okay, so bye bye.
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you